Here we are, out camping for in Storm Eunice. Probably a little bit daft for most people, and I'm not sure if I am going to actually camp and stay. Obviously worried about the storm, knocking trees over and stuff like that, but I'm going to have a look around. I've got all my gear with me just in case, and if I do find somewhere that I think is safe, I'm going to try and camp and get through the storm. So yeah, I'll keep you updated. Hear the wind now. Strange, it seems to be obviously very windy, but it's not so windy at ground level, but it's windy enough to start moving the trees at high level. You can't really see here, but some of the gusts have been massive, and that's what worries me. Camping beneath somewhere, if these trees are wobbling around, if there are any dead parts to them, they're going to fall off. You can see some shrapnel on the floor already where bits are falling off. So yeah, I've either got to find some trees that I really trust, or probably go into the kind of less favoured territory, which is where the open ground is without trees. So this is the area I was interested in before. Meaning that when I came here originally looking for places to wild camp, this is one of the places that kind of jumps out. I can't really tell here, but the trees are thinner, probably far less dangerous if they came down compared to these thick, huge trees that are a lot older. It's a lot denser in there, probably better cover. The question is there anywhere that I can put at least a one-man area to sleep? So let's have a look. So this looks to be the best spot by far that I've come across. You can see what I mean about the trees here. They're a lot tighter together, it's more compact, it's more sheltered here because it's lower down. All the wind's going over the top of these trees. These aren't even moving. And I know that could probably change if the weather altered, if the wind direction changed, I don't know, but here it's certainly the most sheltered spot, and there's some sort of ground that is kind of flat. It is sloping down, but I think I'm going to be struggling to find anything that's properly flat. Might have to just bank it up with my mat, my rucksack, perhaps put that at one end of my mat to kind of pack it up and compensate for the gradient. Yeah, this could be the place. I don't know if you can see that bit of light towards the end of the photo, or end of the video. What am I trying to say? That bit of light towards the end of the far tree, that's kind of where the path is. So there's quite a bit here before you get on the path, and there's still loads of trees in the way, so I don't think people would see much here. Could be the place to go. So a little wander away from my rucksack, and if you can see it, it's right over there, and then there's another kind of path here. So I've probably got equal distance between two paths to where I am. Enough trees to be in the way. My tent's green. I plan on being very stealthy anyway. I don't think there'll be too many people out in these kind of conditions. And I've noticed there's lots and lots of spongy moss down here, so I might even take some of this and kind of lay it out on where I'm going to be camping to try and make the ground a bit more even. Well, a bit of sod's law here really, because I've more geared up to put my tent around about here. I was cleaning away some of the broken branches. I've noticed there's all kinds of stuff here. I looked at that tree, doesn't look very healthy. Pulled on a couple of the branches at low down, and they've fallen straight off. So I suppose there's a question over how safe that tree is in general. It's quite a big one. There's no other trees around it really, so if I'm going to put my tent here, worst case scenario is that could fall straight on me. It's a bit of a shame really, because you can see all these other trees here are pretty healthy, smaller profile, aren't going to move around in the wind so much. To be fair, I don't think we're getting a lot of wind here anyway, but I'm just thinking worst case, if it does start to blow over a lot more here, then that's the last thing I want, to have that as a significant risk right where I'd be camping. I've just carried on walking out of this kind of woodland area where all the trees are really close together. I've come to this track here that's flooded a bit. I've left my rucksack all the way up there. Hope I can still find it. But again, going any farther than this feels like you're in the same old territory where there's just nowhere nowhere remotely flat to put a tent. The trees are huge. It feels like there's a lot more exposed here. In there seems to be the way to go. The trees aren't really moving, they're thinner in general. There's more places to go. My tent is freestanding, so I suppose I could just set it up and move it around if I find it's not quite right where I am. And there is moss that I can pick up and use to kind of bank down the uneven areas. So I'm probably best doing that, choosing somewhere in here. It's 3:30, I think. It's still about an hour and a half before we start to lose light, maybe a little bit longer. So I think I'm probably just going to go and do that. So I think I'm going to go here. It's still on that downhill kind of angle, if you can see, trying to hold it level. So I'm gonna start moving bits and bobs. There's lots of moss because the moss is clinging onto all the decomposed timber that's fallen over the years. So you can see some of it over there is really degraded, so it's easy to chuck out the way. But the actual moss I'm going to use to try and make the floor as level as I can, so I can get a good night's kip on it, because with me, even a slight gradient, I'm in trouble when I'm sleeping. So this really is a bit downhill. It's more like that. I'm trying to hold the camera level because I'm looking level, but it's more like that. So I've got a bit of work to do. I think I'm pretty safe here. Can't see any evidence of trees falling down around me. These trees look relatively healthy. They're still the thinner ones. Obviously they do a lot of damage. They could kill someone if they did fall over. They're still big trees, but nothing like the huge trees outside of this area where the main woodland is. So yeah, I'm going to put some graft in now, try and get that as level as I can, and then set the tent up and try and chill out for a bit. So I don't know if you can tell, but it's starting to level up a bit. Still sloping there, but I'm getting it a lot leveler than it was. I'm putting lots of moss down. I've got to bank it up there, but that's where my head's going to go really. And then just making sure I've got quite a level footprint just for sleeping in. Alright, it's 4 o'clock, and take my word for it, it's much more level than it was before. It's soft as well. There's pretty much, a complete layer of moss where I am, and then where there was depressions or significant drops, slants from where my head's going to be over there, there's loads and loads of moss packed up on top of each other, so it should be pretty comfy. I've just laid down on it, it's quite flat, a lot better than it was before, so I'm pretty pleased. Going to set the tent up now, see how we do. So I've got the fly sheet on top of the footprint, it's pegged out. You can do this by putting the poles onto the footprint first and the eyelets, and then do everything after that, but I haven't practiced that, and just want to get it sorted really. But you can see I've got the footprint under there as well to keep it clean. So yeah, let's get the pole. So I've got it up now. Still need to peg out the fly sheet, but it's been set up properly. It's nice and taut on top. Once I've staked out the skirt of the tent and some of the guy lines, it'll be done. So after that, I just want to test to see what it is like inside. Is it going to be comfy for sleep? What's the porch space like? Will I be able to use the heater that I've got? I think I will be. The videos I've seen on YouTube, it does look like it's a big tent, especially inside. So yeah, I hope it's as level as it can be. I mean, it's not going to be perfect by any stretch, but I think I've done pretty well considering I'm on a big slope. So here we go, all set up now. Decent vestibule, decent porch. It's not huge. I did think it was a bit bigger looking at some of the videos online. Could be because I've slightly banked up to one side where I've put all the moss. So yeah, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of sloping down away from the inner. That's because it's actually banked right up under the inner to make it as level as it can be. So yeah, I've read about this as well online. There's only like 3 pegs left over by the time you've done all the like the skirting area of the tent, of the outer, but there's actually 4 guy lines to use, so you're a peg short straight away for that, which is a bit stupid. I don't know why they've done that, but I might just use the guy lines and attach them to the trees, which is going to make it even more stable anyway. I've seen some videos where people have used walking poles, planted them right deep into the ground, either to, you know, aid the frame in high winds, or to use as a more secure point to change the angle to make it more stable on the outer to keep it nice and taut. So yeah, I'm going to do that. Well, dare I say it, this storm is a pussy boy. There's nothing going on. A bit windy before, on arrival, some rain, nothing too bad. But the wind's all but stopped around here. You can hear it. You can hear some gusts at really high level, you know, towards the west over there where the sun is. Or the east rather, I think it's the east. Yeah, hardly any feeling of risk or threat from the weather. The sun's come out, it's lovely. Got the tent set up now. I'll take you inside and show you what I've got. So it's all set up nice, it looks really good. I'm really pleased with the pitch, considering it's so hard to get any kind of flat ground around here. Now that the tent's up, it probably gives some context to the landscape around you. You can see all these ridges, all these little depressions in the ground, especially when you go low. You know, it's very, very up and down. You'd struggle to get you know, a one-man bivvy in a lot of these places, but I found this little spot here. Spent a good half an hour collecting moss, big chunks of moss, and making the ground as flat as I can. So it seems to be okay. I've got the mat in there now. I've had a little lie down in it. Still feels nice and flat. It's never going to be as good as your bed. But let's see what we've got. So inside I've got a foam mat, which I like just to have as a little base. And then on top of that, I'll have this Cedar Summit Ether XT insulated mat. It's a really good 10cm deep mat, I love that. I've got a bivvy, if I need it. I can put everything inside of that, the mat, the insulated mat. My sleeping bag is the Rab Ascent 700. It's supposed to be really cold. Looking at the BBC forecast, it's supposed to feel like it's -4 at night and feel like it's about -1 now, but it really doesn't. I know I've been up and down, exerting myself, setting everything up and this and that, and I'm probably a bit warm from it, but yeah, really didn't expect it to feel that cold. But I have got that. It's a warm bag, and then I've got my clothes inside of that other stuff sack. So I've got a down jacket, I've got another fleece, like a base layer fleece to go over this base layer I'm wearing, and some merino base layer trousers. What have I got over here? Just a cheap pillow, waterproof coat. I've got my alpine hat that I had on, some earplugs for night time, bottle of Coke, fancy a bit of that. So the storage is good in here. I've got storage either side. I've got some milk for when I make a cup of tea. I've got some string tied up there that I could use to make a kind of washing line to go above me on the inner of the tent, if I need to dry anything. I don't think I will. Cereal bar, a couple of spoons. I've got my map and compass. I can hear a helicopter. I'm a bit paranoid about helicopters since one flew right over me and my friend when we were wild camping a while ago in Manifold Valley. It literally hovered straight over us. stayed, looked at us, and then did one. And it was a police helicopter as well, so we're a little bit freaked out by that. Nothing to worry about though, that's not for us. So in the porch, I thought the porch was going to be a bit bigger than it is now, or than it is actually. I've got it rolled down to here, decent entrance here. You can actually take the porch to the second point here. You can see I've got my rucksack stowed away nicely, a couple of bottles of water. I've got this massive tin of gas, which may be a bit of overkill for my kind of trips, but it's the only one I had. I've got a little stove that fits on top of it, cheap stove, mesh tin, some like hygiene products in there, tissue, wet wipes, lighter for the stove. I've got a kettle in here as well if I want to drink. Little stole Emma's tin mug, this little tin mug with bees on. Some stag chilli as well for later. I've ate a lot before I've come out as well, to keep the calories in. I've got this carbon monoxide alarm detector, which is important to have. You shouldn't really do anything, should you? Any cooking or anything inside a tent. I've never had a problem, but that's not to say it's safe. And what I do like to do, what I've done in bigger tents before, is use this adapter. This is an actual like a heating element that sits on top of your stove. It gets red hot, starts radiating the heat. You can cook on top of it slowly, so you put your stove on the gas obviously and then put that on top. I'd probably feel a bit happy with this if it was on a stove that sat on the ground and was then linked, by a gas tube to the gas cylinder. I'm just a bit paranoid that it can get so hot, and maybe it could do something to that. But I just want to see what it's like today. I'm just going to use it sensibly. I'm going to have it on a low heat. I'm just going to see if it's actually viable to use. Maybe to bring the gas closer to here, make sure everything's clear. Have it on. Obviously, it can't be too close to here, so it can't be too far away because it's right on top of the fly there. So it's got to be quite close to the inner. I just want to see what it's like. Again, I've got the carbon monoxide alarm, so it should be fine. You've got lots of ventilation coming under here. There's ventilation all around this tent because it's not a 3-season tent, a 4-season tent, it's a 3. So it should be fine. I just want to see if I can get toasty warm, if I could use it for colder camping. What else have I got in here? I've got my special knife. It's a very good knife that Emma bought for me. F1 Pro. I forget the name of the manufacturer. I think it was an expensive knife. I should know what it's called. I'll have to have a look at it and tell you. I think it's a Swedish knife. It's very expensive, spoilt on me really. It's that good. I don't like to use it really because I'm a bit shit with a knife. But it's nice to have as well. And I've been reading this. I want to improve my navigation skills, which won't be hard because they're pretty much zero. Sometimes I can come out of a toilet in a building that I haven't been in before and not know which way to turn to get back to where I came from. It's something that dogs me throughout my life really. So I'm going to read that in my own time. Have some nice reading time in here. Yeah, it's a good tent. Got some gear loft at the top. Got some snacks up there, some crisps, some chocolate, pot noodle, and I've got these attachment points which I could rig the string that I have, and if I needed to, if it was absolutely pissing it down with rain, I could hang some of my clothing right at the top, fire this heating system up, and see what it does for me. So yeah, really good. So I just stepped out of the tent, put a few extra layers of clothing on. A little bit of wind, it's not too bad at all. It's really nice outside. The last bit of sun, and I'm standing on this kind of weird track, which looks a bit like it could be a path. It doesn't look like it's been used much. can't imagine many people will come up. You can see just in the background there's my tent. And other than the little red part of it, I don't think it's that easy to spot. So yeah, I think we're going to chill out now, maybe get a cup of tea on, and that's it for me for a bit. So just trying the heater now. It is getting colder. It snuck up on me actually. I didn't think it was going to be that cold, but you can see my breath now. Got the heater fired up in the porch area. Carbon monoxide detectors on as well. Just see how warm it gets. Turn this down a little bit actually. So I've turned it right down. I can already feel the warmth from that. I've got the CO alarm here. Press the test a few times. It tells you how many parts. Carbon is detected at the moment, 0. Absolutely nothing. So it's good to have. I'll keep using this intermittently just to see what the reading is. Interested to know. Still happy with the ventilation. Don't really need it, it's not that cold, but I do want to see what it's like to have this in this kind of situation. So yeah, quite pleased with it. Enough of a gap, I think, enough height away from the heating element, so all good. Right, not done a video for a while. I've just been chilling out. Had a pot noodle, finished my Coke. Been outside for a bit, had a little sit down a couple of times. Really nice evening. I'm really tired though. Really snug now. I'm in my bag. I'm gonna have a good sleep. It's just getting a bit cold. I've had the heater on quite a lot. But yeah. Let's see how I get on. I think it's sleepy time now, and see what tomorrow brings.